So I decided to redo this. It's been a while. 4 years. Long time. I can hear everything in the restaurant with these microphones. Holy crap. Okay. Well, I'm in Greenwich in England. Try not to talk too loud. I'm in a restaurant. Not the ideal place for a podcast, but when your Airbnb sucks dick, you can't be in there from 9 to 9. It's a whole issue I've been dealing with for 3 weeks, by the way. I'm not going to get too into that because it will just piss me off further. So anyways, in Greenwich, I've been in England for 3 weeks. It's been pretty fun, actually. Been going around on my bicycle, going to all the, the sites, I guess you could say. Unfortunately, Big Ben at the moment has a bunch of scaffolding around it, and you can't even tell what it is, so that kind of sucks. But, it's there. I've seen it. And rode across the bridge on my bicycle a few times. Been over to the Natural History Museum. That was really cool. They have an entire blue whale skeleton over there, which is interesting. It's hanging from this gigantic ceiling of this very old building. It's pretty sweet. There's some dinosaur bones, some other stuff. They have this entire, I don't know how old it is. No, I said it was from the 1990s or something. They have an entire swordfish in this giant tank, and it's basically preserved with what do they use? An embalming fluid. The hell do you call it? Pickle juice. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. I'm waiting for my breakfast to come over here at Weatherspoons. It's actually not good. I think the food is, Jesus Christ, what is that noise? Oh, it's a slot machine. Oh my god. That's weird. God, this is the best place ever to restart a podcast after 4 years. Especially with this thing. You can hear everything, so very convenient. I have headphones in, and I can hear everything going into this thing. That's whatever. It'll work out. I'm actually good. As soon as my food gets here, I'm going to stop this and move tables to somewhere a little more quiet. Jesus Christ. So, anyway, Greenwich is really cool. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a really huge park. They have a rose garden in there. They have tennis courts. I guess you have to become a member or whatever. Wow, that is not even close. It's so loud. There's the Prime Meridian at zero, I think. It's in Greenwich Park. It's where the Eastern Hemisphere meets the Western Hemisphere. It's pretty cool. There's an observatory up on the hill. It's to today's standards, it's ridiculously small. And obviously the telescope's probably some analog, lens telescope you just look in with your eye or whatever. It's probably, I would imagine, I haven't gone in there, but I would imagine it's got cranks to move it, or something like those wheels that you crank to move it, a degree or whatever. And the dome it's pretty small, but it's cool. It's an old building, well preserved. Jesus Christ. This is fantastic. think a different microphone would probably suit this. Fuck, I should have brought whatever. There's the Greenwich Market, which is pretty cool. It's got people who make crafts or paintings, or they have shirts that they printed or whatever. They go sell things during the week, and on the weekend it's really crazy busy, and there's all these foods that you can buy. Really, really good food. All kinds, anything you can think of that's really kind of I guess ethnic is there. So they have Mediterranean food, Indian food, stuff like that, and then they have a lot of baked goods, which is pretty cool. There's the I think it's called the National Maritime Museum, which is really cool. It's got a bunch of stuff about the naval history of England, which is actually really interesting. If you think about it, this is an island, right? This is going so well. They're an island, so obviously to get somewhere you have to take a ship or whatever, right? And it kind of went over, I would say brushed over, because the history is so long that they brushed over certain things, Nelson something, Captain Nelson, whatever his name is. He was a really prominent figure, I guess. Oh, food's here. Okay, fuck, sorry about all that noise. Actually, I'm not sorry about it. I had no control over it. Anyways, yeah, I'm a little bit older now and in a different hemisphere than I was half an hour ago. I crossed that meridian I was talking about. And, speaking of that, I'm in Greenwich Park on a hill in some grass, just chilling. Had to bring my bike up this really tall hill. It was a little bit of a workout carrying that bitch up here. So yeah, this prime meridian thing. This one, I guess, there are several prime meridians that are longitude, right? So they go north to south. And this one is at 0. Excuse me. It's supposed to be at 0 degrees. Shit, what was that? Some kind of bird. Oh. These trees are interesting, by the way. I'll talk about these trees here in a minute. What is that fucking noise? Is that a bird? Must be. Shit. Going crazy. Or a bee or something. Well, this microphone's pretty powerful. Picks up a lot of noise. That's why you were hearing all that shit. Anyways, back to the fucking thing. This is going to be completely unedited, just so you know. This is standard podcast procedure, unedited. Fuck editing. I don't give a shit. Number one, takes away from the authenticity. Number two, I'm too lazy to edit that, even though I'm really not. I could spend all day fucking editing music or whatever. I don't care, is what it is. I don't care. Yeah, so this prime meridian thing separates the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere, and evidently they got it wrong in the 1800s. It's actually 102 meters to the east of where they thought it actually was, and it's at the observatory, and I'm probably 500 meters east of the observatory right now. So, yeah, interesting fun fact. Yeah, these trees, though, Jesus Christ. I'm going to go on about some trees again. Okay, so I don't remember which queen it was. One of these stupid queens, or maybe not stupid. Maybe she was like a troll. Anyways, there's these trees. I don't know what they're called. And I was going to sit under this nice shady spot, 50 yards behind me. Beautiful little shady spot. A little bit of sun coming through under this tree. And it's like kind of a lower tree, and they seem to like arc over into like a little dome kind of thing, and they're pretty low, so their branches almost touch the floor, and they have like these yellow, I guess it would be like their seeds or whatever they are, pollen inductors, whatever the technical engineering term for this is. Anyways, point is, this queen, either she was really cunty or she was a fucking troll, decided to plant this type of tree in all the parks, like tons of them. Lots of these trees. The thing is, when they are pollinating, or at least right now, I think they're pollinating right now, they smell like cum. They smell like fucking cum. They're cum trees, is what they are. And you want to sit under one, guess what? You're going to smell like a fucking, like a not a hostel, what do you call it? What the fuck is it called? Prostitute den. Anyways, they fucking smell, right? They're beautiful trees. They create awesome shade, but they smell like cum. And I think this queen either really, really loved cum, or she was a troll and was like, I'm gonna fucking trick everybody, and in 100 years, we're gonna see where... Yeah. You get the cum smell. Or however royalty in these parts speak. Yeah, so Greenwich. Back to Greenwich from a minute ago, a little earlier. This place is really cool. I love this park. This park is awesome. There's some hills. You can go up high and see the city. Actually, a really, really good view of the city and the skyscrapers, all that shit. And there's like old structures. Like there's an old hospital. And it's a tiny building. It's like if you took like a very small house, but then made it like 3 times as high, and it's just bricks. There's no windows or anything. It could possibly even go underground. I don't know, because it's kind of up against a hill. But it was a hospital at one point. But one strange thing is, it's in the middle of a park, which has been here for a long time, and there are no other like structures around it. It's just kind of in the middle. I don't know. It's weird. These fucking trees, man. There's all kinds of trees. Got distracted a minute ago because I'm sitting under one now. Or sort of under one. Hold on. Excuse me. I don't know if you could hear that. That was awful. It's like some kind of conifer tree or something. It's got these things that look like pine cones, but they're not. They look more like... Excuse me. I keep hacking shit up. I think the coffee got in my sinuses. Or is this tree cum? Again. Tree cum strikes again. Anyways, they have like these pine cone type things on them, but they look more like a hornet's nest, even though they're the same color as a pine cone, like that brown, but like the structure of it looks kind of like a little tiny hornet's nest. And this microphone, this camera. I'm using a Zoom Q8 camera, by the way, which has this incredible microphone on it, and it's these little capsules. You can switch which kind of microphone. I have an XY microphone on it right now, which is technically 2 microphones running in stereo. And then there's like a little shotgun mic, and then a shotgun mic with a 3D capture. Anyways, this one works fine, but the handling noise on this thing, like when you rub the plastic on this camera, like you can hear that. Or if I, just tap my thumb on it, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. It works great. It sounds really good. Man, this England place, huh? It's interesting. I've met not very many interesting people. The more interesting people that I've met are like older people, like in their 60s or 70s, because they generally they don't give a shit. I guess they're not, like you speak to like a 60-year-old in the United States, they know how to use like iPads and apps and shit like that, right? These older folk here, like, they don't care, man. They're just old school, They don't give a fuck, which is cool. I was talking to this one old guy, and it's kind of hard to understand what they say. Not so much because they have an English accent, which is fine. I can understand that. They're all fucking drunk. Everyone here drinks so fucking much. It's ridiculous. And like half the population are smokers, which I don't understand how. I bought a pack of cigarettes because I was stressing out over the stupid fucking Airbnb thing I was dealing with, but now it's like nothing I can do about it, so whatever, I'm cool on that, whatever. But these people who smoke, they're like anywhere between like 14 and, well, maybe like 13 to 14 to maybe like 16 pounds, which in US dollars is like 20, 21, 22, something like that. That is outrageous. Like, if you're a habitual smoker here, I mean, you're paying out the ass for some cigarettes, man. And they don't have, I guess nobody chews or spits here, which, is fine with me because it should be all over the sidewalks. Yeah, it's so expensive. I bought a pack of cigarettes, even though I really regret it already, because now I'm hacking shit up a day later, and well, I think it might be partly coffee, whatever. I don't even like cigarettes. I fucking hate them. But I was stressing. So whatever. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Doesn't matter. I'm on vacation. God, I gotta quit sniffling though into this microphone. I mean, it's, the 2 or 3 people that ever hear this are gonna be like, "Oh, quit sniffling, you faggot." I don't mean that in a derogatory word or way. Sorry, everybody. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for anything I ever say. I don't give a fuck. Words are words. I don't mean shit. Anyways, hold on. I'm just gonna put the microphone in the grass. No, it's fucking crows. Okay. Bodily functions taking. Okay, so there are a lot of crows. I think they're crows. They're either crows or they're ravens. I think ravens have kind of a curved tip on their beak, and crows have like the straight beak. Their beaks, they're essentially the same animal, but one's beak is slightly different, and I think they maybe act slightly different as well. I'm not sure. I'm not a zoologist or a crowologist or Cro-Magnon, whatever. Yeah, and I need to quit saying fucking Jesus Christ, how many times? So like, fucking retarded. God damn it. Man, I'm just tired. I'm fucking out of it. I've been here for 3 weeks, and I guess I'll touch on this Airbnb situation. Not great. I guess somehow I fucking missed a very large thing in the fine print, or whatever. It's not even fine print. I guess I missed it. I don't know how, but I rent this place for a month, and in there, unbeknownst to me, it says I can only be on the property from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., meaning just for sleep, right? Not ideal, especially when you book it for a month, meaning I've got to be outside doing shit, which is fine, but like, I want to wind down. I want to, 12 hours out doing whatever. You come back and you want to, I want to talk to my family on Skype and my girlfriend and just kind of wind down, maybe watch some TV, like Netflix or whatever, right? Wind down. By the time I'm getting ready to go to sleep, it's maybe like 1, or 2, because, I'm chilling out for a few hours, so I got to take a shower, do a little bit of laundry if I can, and then in the morning, I have to wake up and leave. Like, it's not an ideal situation, although I'm stuck in it for another 10 days. It's been 20 days, something like that. 21 days. It's alright, it's fine. It's not, like I said, it's not ideal, and I guess somehow I fucking missed it, even though I thought I went over that really well, and it doesn't matter. Next month I have another place booked, and it's going to be fantastic, because it's full access whenever the fuck I want. Yeah, god damn it. I'm fucking retarded. Keep playing with this grass, too. I'm sure the microphone's picking that up nice. God damn it. I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Okay, so I've been all over the city on my bicycle. Fuck public transportation, by the way. Like, seriously, fuck this public transportation. If you have a full-size bicycle, you can't take it on anything except for the DLR, which is like the above-ground train. And that is... you have to go one way, and you pay like 16 or whatever, 6 pounds, whatever it is. You go to one destination, and then you have to switch trains and pay for another ticket to go to a different part of the city. So essentially you have to pay to go to one part to the next, and pay every time you fucking switch. It's so retarded. And that's the only one I can take a bicycle on. I'm not doing that. I'd rather ride across the city. It takes me like an hour to ride about 9 miles, which on like a country road or something, that should only take you 20 minutes maybe. Not even that. I mean, if it's flat or whatever, shouldn't take you that long. But there's a lot of stop signs, and the roads here are fucking ridiculous. Like, you'll be going get off me, fucking fly. You'll be going straight, and I look at my map a lot. I don't use navigation to where it leads me and it says turn right here, turn left here, because I'm too cheap to actually get a phone with service, and in order to do that I need a phone with service. But I can still look at my map because it's loaded up. I load it, make sure it's up, and the city's loaded, which is fine. It works, because I could use it like a regular map, except it tells me like where I'm at, which is an added bonus. And by the way, people today do not know how to fucking read a map, like, at all. Like, if you were to say, okay, here's a map, I need you to drive 400 miles and get here, someone, my age, 30 or younger, probably wouldn't be able to do it. I can do it. I've been riding motorcycles for about 6 years. It's the only way you can do it is by memorizing things, and, well, not the only way. I guess you could mount a GPS on your bike if you wanted to, but why do that? It's no point. It kind of takes away from the experience, I guess. Anyway, so you're going down these roads, right? And the city is so old, and like, it was essentially villages that were combined and then paved and all this shit. There were little towns, villages turned to towns, turned to a fucking city, turned to a metropolis, because it all ended up being connected. But these roads will go straight, right? And you think you're going fucking straight, and then there'll be a turn to, like, say, a merge to the left. I mean, that happens a lot, where a block is actually a triangle. That's like a lot, like, so many blocks here are triangles, because it's like a merge to the left, merge to the right, whatever. And you can turn the wrong way and go the wrong way for a little while without even realizing it, thinking you're going in the same direction you were. So that kind of getting across takes a little bit longer, because that'll happen to me, and then I'll have to pull up my map and say, oh fuck, I went to the northeast when I was trying to go north. I need to backtrack a little bit or find a different road that will merge back. So navigating isn't the worst, but it's a little bit of a challenge. It's not crazy hard. I can find my way around the city just fine. I'm staying on the Isle of Dogs, which is right across the river from Greenwich. And I like hanging out in Greenwich because it's really nice up here. Isle of Dogs is a financial district on the northern part of the peninsula. The lower part's all residential. And then there's another park called Mudchute over there, which is Mudchute Farm, which is actually kind of cool. It's just kind of like they have some horses and I think some sheep over there. I don't know why, but you can go over there and pet them. And there's just a couple trees. It's not a huge park, not like Greenwich Park or Hyde Park. So I'm staying on the Isle of Dogs, right? And so I'll come down here to Greenwich and then ride over to the west on the south side of the river towards this big tall building called the Shard, which is like this big triangle. No, it's like a pyramidal type building, but it's not a perfect pyramid. It's like a very tall, skinny pyramid, and it's all glass on the side and shit. And the top of it's all pointy. God damn it! I said again. This grass is getting all over my socks. So I'll ride my bike across the river, which is interesting. There's a tunnel that actually you ride along the river on the Isle of Dogs, which is really not an isle. It's a peninsula, but whatever. So I'll ride along the river. I'll get to this dome, and it inside the dome is an elevator and a giant spiral staircase. And you go down either which way you choose. Sometimes it's stairs, sometimes the lift. It takes you underground, and you go under the river in an underground tunnel. And I like riding my bike through that tunnel because I can haul ass. Like, you just get to the bottom on the elevator, you start pedaling because it dips down. I guess it follows, I don't know if it's like under the river, like under the dirt, I think it is, or under the mud, or if it's in the water. I don't think it's in the water. That wouldn't make any sense. But either way, it goes downhill and then uphill. So you haul ass as fast as you can. I'm assuming, because my eyes start watering up, and with a motorcycle, if I'm riding and I lift my visor, about 60 and my eyes will start to water. Now I know I'm not going 60 in this tunnel, but maybe like 40, 45 maybe, because you just put it in the fucking lowest gear, or the highest gear, whatever, and you just haul ass down it, and just my eyes will start to tear up like crazy, and then with very little effort get up the other side of the hill, and then maybe pedal a little bit and get to the lift. Sometimes there's like a shitload of people in there, especially in the morning at like 9 o'clock when I have to fucking leave the house. There's a lot of people on bikes and walking, and generally when there's that many people, you just kind of walk it. But if it's later, like when I come in at like 8:30, 9 or whatever, god damn it, there's nobody in there, so I'll just fucking haul ass. One day, actually 2 days, 2 separate weeks even. There was this one time I rode down there, and there was this dude filming this chick like twerking for like a music video. He had like a gimbal and a camera and shit. I don't know what the fuck. And then another time someone else was filming something at the bottom, and the people that were filming whatever this music video was were looking at me like you fucking asshole, like you're in a public tunnel, like shaking your ass. What the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. I know it's later in the day, there's nobody down here, but this is a tunnel to get from one side of the river to the other. God damn, I digress so much, but it's alright. I don't care. It's fine. Anyways, God, I get so sidetracked, which is fine. It's fine. It's okay. So you go across the tunnel, and then I ride my bike on the south side of the river to get over to like Westminster, Chelsea, Hyde Park, that area, which is the city is big, man. It's really big, but it doesn't take that long to get across on a bike. Because on a bike, you ride on the road. You don't ride on sidewalks. You ride on the road, and there are these things called superhighways, which they're not everywhere, but they're in a lot of places, which is basically a separate little tiny road that's colored either gray, red, or green, whatever. I don't know what the color indicates. Maybe it's just what borough you're in, maybe. And it's a bicycle little highway thing, right? And cars can't drive on it, so you just ride on that and go along your way. Generally, you can keep going, and there are these red lights for crossings. They're not at intersections, or here they call them junctions, which same shit, whatever. So there'll be these red lights at just like a human crossing, I guess, like a herding crossing. Oh, hey, someone's film. Oh shit, there's a film crew down there. Is that? Yep. Okay. I don't know what they're doing. A second day in a row, I've been to a park. I went to another park, and there was this big, like a really big, tall gazebo, and it had these big metal pillars and these things holding up the roof and everything, and they were filming something. There was a whole film crew inside this gazebo filming these. It was these two guys, I guess, having some dialogue back and forth or whatever. And today, this is a separate park. There's a guy, he's got a mic boom. Possibly the same people for all I know. Fuck, I don't know. I have no idea. That'd be funny if it was. Filming. Anyways, god damn it, I keep getting distracted. I have like a goldfish brain. I swear to God. There's flakes of food. Food flakes. I'm gonna swim. Did I eat yet? I don't know if I ate today. And so you ride your bike. I ride my bike across the city. It actually is really exciting because you're going with these cars. You're hauling ass. I like to haul ass. I pass so many people, and I don't know. I'm not looking back, so I don't know if they're like fucking fuck you, asshole, or what would they say? You ye bloody con. I don't know. However people speak around here. Who's yelling? Someone yelling at their dog. Oh, whoa. There's like this bird. I don't know what it is. It's this kind of bird that's like interesting. I mean, it's like black and white splotched, but it's kind of a big bird. And like not quite the size of a raven. Anyways, someone's yelling. I can't tell where it is. I have headphones in. And this microphone in my hand. This is gonna be a long one, guys. I'm gonna keep fucking talking. I don't give a shit. I actually might do this in parts. Fuck, that would require editing. Fuck. Alright, so I'm gonna finish what I'm talking about. Riding the bike and traveling. So... God, get to the point, you motherfucker. That's what people are thinking. The two people who are ever going to hear this. Get to the motherfucking point. My motherfucking point. Chewing this grass. Pretty good. Is... It's a lot of fun. It doesn't take that long. If I were to take like a train or an Uber, it would take... I would estimate it would take even longer in an Uber or a taxi, and it would take maybe just as long on a train to get where I'm going. Because they stop a lot or whatever, or a bus. But fuck that, I'm not leaving my bike anywhere. I love this bike. Which, by the way, I'll talk about that in part 2, because I don't, shorter parts, and maybe people will be more inclined to listen to everything instead of starting. And I don't know what I'm doing here. This podcast is brought to you by Who Gives a Shit. Go to your local Sainsbury's in Greenwich, London, England, and purchase your favorite Who Gives a Shit. Sponsoring this podcast. Yeah. Travel's great though. I mean, it's fine. I get really sweaty, which is fine. I went to a casino and I was super I was pouring sweat, but I don't give a fuck. They had to let me in because I'm not homeless, technically. Fuck. Hey, y'all do. How long? I don't know. Let's see how How long's this been going? This is only 27 minutes. The other one was only perfect. I can talk for a little bit longer about this. God damn, I feel like I've been rambling, which I have been. Oh, god damn it. I gotta get this straight, man. If I'm gonna do this, I really would like to start talking shit again with some sort of an audience. Stand-up. I came to do stand-up here. I'll talk about that later, but man, wait lists are long. Like 3 months, 2-3 months just for an open mic night, and they don't have any. They just don't let you go sign up like at anywhere in the States. Man, it's fucking weird. So I went to Westminster, and I knew I was there because there were signs around that said Westminster. I was like, oh shit, cool. And I'm over there, and this is like 9 miles away or something from where my base is. And I see a sign on the side of this building that says Bat Out of Hell Live. Like, oh, what? Meatloaf live? Really? That's interesting. Okay. And I pass it, and I go a little further. Now I'm coming. Isle of Dogs is central, but east, right on the river. I think I rode my bike up north along this like kind of loopy. Like if you look at central London, there's like this road that it looks like one road. It's really not. It's like it's not as easy to get around it as you would think or hope. But I was coming along that, going northwest around it, and then Westminster's on the river as well, but it's further west. So I came from the north down south onto it. Anyway, so I'm going. I see this Meatloaf sign. I'm like, oh shit, okay, Meatloaf. I go a little further down south into Westminster, and then I see a billboard for Chicago. Like, you know, the movie Chicago. It says starring Cuba Gooding Jr. I guess I don't know how long it's there. And like, okay, fuck. What if I ran into Cuba Gooding Jr. on the streets of Westminster? That'd be interesting. Crazy. I keep going, and I'm not putting fucking 2 and 2 together yet. I keep going, and then I see a billboard for like Aladdin live. Like, oh fuck, Westminster is like the Broadway of London. So they had so many things. They had those three. They had the Lion King down there. They had some Harry Potter thing. They had the Book of Mormon, which I would fucking love to see, but man, to go see it over here, it was like $100 and something for seats in the very middle of the venue, which no thank you. If I want to see something, I want to see, you know, first 10 rows, you know, and I want to, you know, anyway, so there was that, and then next across the street from that was the fucking Comedy Store, man, like the fucking Comedy Store. Not like, it's not the same, quite the same regard as the one in Los Angeles, alright, but it's still like a fucking pinnacle of stand-up comedy. Hi, puppy. Oh, someone's dog came. Hi, puppy. That was the most adorable little fucking dog. Ah, man, I miss my dog. Like the pinnacle of stand-up comedy. And, you know, I don't know any English comics really. To be honest, I really don't. I know a lot of American comics. I love comedy. There's so many American comics that are just so fucking good, like next level, like continually pushing the bar higher and higher, you know. But anyway, so I don't know any of them here, but I would love to go fucking see a show over there. The thing is, with this fucking Airbnb thing, I have to be back at 9 o'clock at night. Shows are at night. It's 9 miles away. 9, 10, whatever it is, 9 miles away. It's a long ways away, man. I can't fucking do it. It's so stupid. So hopefully next month when I have a different Airbnb that's not going to have these time restraints bullshits, I can stay out as late as I want. Hopefully leave my bike in the room and maybe take a fucking the metro. Then they call it the tube here because it's in a tube under the ground. Man, that dog was so adorable. It was like this little tiny, white, furry, fluffy dog. It was very soft. Yeah. So far, 3 weeks in, I've seen a lot of shit. How long is this? 33 minutes. Fucking hell. Alright, well, keep going. It's not that long, really. Ideally, maybe I could do hour-long parts. I mean, it's just me talking. Shit. So if you're interested in hearing just one guy talk to himself, yeah, fucking, hey, I'm your guy. This is your podcast, eh? You got any podcasts in those balls? I like the city. It's pretty cool. I planned initially on coming here with an indefinite amount of time to do whatever. This fucking Airbnb situation I'm dealing with right now, holy fuck, is it draining? And it is very, it's making the experience pretty shitty because I'm on a schedule while on vacation. What the fuck that, man? Like, if I had things I wanted to go, I'm gonna go see this show on this day, that's an okay schedule to keep, but fucking 9 to 9 every fucking day, man. Jesus Christ. This fucking cunt. And I thought that I had read it clearly and read nowhere that it said that I could only stay from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. But evidently somehow it was fucking there, and I can't even leave the guy a shitty review because everything was kosher. It was fucking there. I guess I'm just the idiot that. It's probably. I'm gonna blame it on myself. I will. It's nobody's fault but mine. Like that awesome Led Zeppelin song off of the album Presence. Check it out. It's a good album. 1967, I believe. Yeah, the parks here are so awesome, man. They're really good. And I've explored a lot of the city. I've been to Hyde Park. I've been here. I've been all over Central, but I haven't really ventured out way west or even further east past Greenwich or anything like that. Because I don't know what's there. I don't know where safe areas are. And everywhere I've been has been really safe. It's been a pleasant experience. Nothing bad. I saw like one guy try to fight another guy walking down the street holding shopping bag. I don't know what the fuck was going on. These guys were arguing about something. And it was right when I was leaving the most epic badass place I could ever describe for guitars, guitar equipment, guitar stores rather. There's a whole block there on. It's a whole like block and a half, 2 blocks maybe even, on Denmark Street. And it's guitar store after guitar store after guitar store after guitar store, and they're multi-story. And I'm not talking about like Guitar Center type shit where it's all like commercial. Oh, hey, we got the newest Fender, this and that, which some of the stores would, right? No, these are like, one store was like they only sold Gibsons. They only sold Gibson electric, acoustic, and whatever semi-hollows. But then they also had a couple of amps that were like really high-end amps. They had some Orange. They had some, I think, car amps. Maybe, I can't remember exactly. But they only had really high-end shit. But they were overpriced, man. And this is probably as far as like how nice the store was, as far as like the interior and all that shit. Very nice. Probably the nicest one out of all of them. But man, like a Gibson traditional that would be about $1,100 in the United States was double that. It was like $2,200 for the same fucking thing. And they're fucking relying on people who have money to be there and to go into that store and buy shit. That's what it is, because it's a high-end store, and they don't have a ton of inventory. So it's one of those type stores. really awesome guitars, really nice people there. I'm not going to talk shit about them at all. They were really nice. They let me try out one of these guitars. It's really nice, Gibson. But man, I would never pay $2,200, double. And not even double. It's more than double, because it's double the price in the currency is what it is. So $1,100 US is about, I think, about 800 pounds here. So you're talking about like triple, man, really, for the price in US dollars. It's crazy. But nice store. I go further down. I thought that I randomly came across. Did I no, I looked it up. That's right. I looked it up. I thought there were only a few of them came up. So like 2 of them maybe came up. This is the first one I hit. The next one over is called Hank's Guitar Store, right? It doesn't look like anything special. You see some acoustics. It looks really old, and I mean, the building's just, the glass is all old and like weather stained and shit, you know. You go in, there's a case with some old like 80s, 70s, 80s guitar pedals, you know, they're showcasing them. And there's some modern guitar pedals in another case here, and there's a few acoustics, a few electrics that cost a good bit. But then you see a staircase in the back, and and there's some amps, like I think it was mostly cabinets kind of stacked up there in the front. It was real cluttered. It wasn't like horror-esque or anything like that, but it wasn't like presented in a, like how the other store was. They had everything set up very specifically, very orderly. This place just had stuff. But then you go upstairs to the second floor, and it's like 3 rooms on this floor full of acoustics, and and so many that they're like almost touching each other. They're just jammed in there, and then there's very little walkway space, but you can get to all of them. You can reach all of them. You can try whatever you want out. There's a few chairs to sit and try them out, and stools. There were so many. I'm really, you know, I'm honestly not. Oh, what happened? I'm gonna turn this up. Okay. Trying to eavesdrop a little bit. I'm not an acoustic player, so, you know, I appreciate a nice acoustic guitar. I really do. Like, if you take like a Taylor, man, Taylors sound really good. You take like a nice kind of medium pick with a little bit of flex on it, you strum it, they sound fucking beautiful. You could play some, you know, their necks are nice and thin. Action's generally low on those. Those are really nice. So I can appreciate an acoustic. I just don't play acoustic music really, so I don't bother with them. But I mean, you know, this fucking floor had tons of them, right? And I walk up the stairs further. There's a third story, and by the way, there are guitars hanging on wall mounts going up the stairs, and they're all old, man. They're like old Japanese Tiescos, I think. These old Japanese guitars, which they're actually worth a bunch of money, like $600-700, up to $1,000 or more. But they're not the best made, and you know, they're real thin bodied, like the action's all crazy high. Their pickups are like, it's shit Jack White or like the Black Keys would play, you know, Aaron, whatever his name is. It's those kind of guitars that those guys would appreciate and be able to utilize. Like, cool, but not for me. Anyways, they're lining this staircase that is technically a sort of a spiral staircase. Like, you go up one flight, there's a level, and then you turn and go the rest of the way up. So it kind of spiraled. Anyways, go up to the 3rd floor, and my God, it's like electric guitar. I'm not gonna say like electric guitar heaven, but it's basically a museum. And there are guitars from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, modern guitars. There's so many of them. And they're just like the 2nd floor. They're just everywhere. I mean, you can reach all of them. You can play all of them. There's stools. There's amps to plug into. Lots of amps, too. Especially in the back corner. Man, so they had Tokai guitars, which are essentially... They make Gibson Les Paul clones that are better than the real thing. And they cost less. They're not cheaper by any means as far as like material, build quality, anything like that. They're actually better, but they cost a lot less. At this store, I think they were asking for, a Japanese-made one, and they're profiled after like a 50s Les Paul, which has kind of a fatter neck, like Gibson 57 PAF type pickups or something. They had a bunch of those. They had like a couple of Gibsons, which were really nice. They had this one, which, man, I've been lusting after a 1970s Les Paul, specifically like 55 to 79 Les Paul, either custom or something like that, because they have a thin neck, but they have a volute on the back of the, basically under the nut. And what a volute is, it looks like a thumb rest, and it essentially can be used for that. But what it really is it's a point in the neck that sticks out, it kind of makes a little point sticking out, and it adds structure to the neck. So Gibsons over the years have had a lot of issues with breaking right at that point. Like, say you have it leaned up against your amp, it slides over and it falls 6 inches off the side of the amp and hits the wall. That point is so weak because the wood is so thin right there, and it's one piece of wood with a 13-degree headstock angle, that they don't bend the wood, they just cut it so that the grain of the wood remains the same direction, but anyways, the structure's bad, right? And they still make them like this today without the fucking volute. But those 1970s models had the volute, so they're stronger in the neck. They're more reliable, in my opinion. And other than that, they got the thin neck. They have the full-size fucking 9-pound body, 10-pound body, whatever. I don't know if they made them chambered or not. And chambered meaning they hollow out some of the wood. Not to make it more resonant or anything, just to make it lighter. So it has, I'm sure it has an effect on the tone, but I don't know. But man, so I've always wanted one of these 70s. So they had a 1970s SG reissue, which I think they made in like 2013, I think. Someone gives it. And it's just a remake of what they did in the 70s, and an SG is a different body style than Les Paul. It's a lot thinner. It's got 2 cuts, 2 little horns instead of 1. And it had a fairly thick neck. I wouldn't describe it as too thick. It was fine. Like, I have some guitars with necks that thick that play fucking phenomenal, But it had the volute, man. And that's what I'm looking for. I really would like a 1970, ideally 77 Les Paul Custom in white, alpine white, or off-white, whatever. I just think it would be the cool thing. So back to the store. They had that. I played it, and it sounded fucking great. I was playing it through a JCM 900 or 800, through a Marshall cabinet, 1960A, I think. Fucking man, it sounded good at low volumes too. I could have cranked it up, I think, but I didn't. I didn't want to bother anybody, even though there was nobody in the fucking store at all, except for the 2 guys downstairs who were jamming out to like fucking metal. So whatever. I don't think they would have given a shit. So you walk a little further into this room, like those Tokai Les Paul clones and that Gibson SG 1970s reissue were all kind of like right there by the fucking door, by the stairs. And then you go a little further and there's some Fender Strats. Not interested. Cool guitars, but whatever. I've had one. It's a great guitar, but I don't utilize what they're for. Single coil, whatever. It's not for me. There's some Charvels, the made in Mexico ones, which are really good guitars, made in the same factory as the made in Mexico Fenders. They're owned by Fender. There was some old 80s guitars that were USA made, like a Guild X something. It was like one of these pointy guitars with a tiny little body, really light. It played really nice, but man, electronics were all beat up and stuff. The neck had some visible cracks in it and stuff. Wasn't the best. And they're asking prices on these, more exotic type guitars were a little higher than, say, I found a USA made Dean hardtail, which I think about 2002-3 they were making those, and they were probably selling for about $1,500 to $2,000 back then. They were asking, I think, maybe like 700 pounds, which would be close to 1,000. And I guess they were just sitting in the inventory, new old stock, which is pretty fucking sweet. They had some of those, really nice guitars, well made. They had so much shit, man. It was the coolest fucking store. How I would describe it would be a museum where they sell the inventory for decent prices, is really what it was. It was a cool fucking place, man. Really, really cool. Is it still going? Oh, hell yeah, it's still recording. Good. Okay. I leave there, and I'm really excited about the place. Like, fuck, this store is cool, man. I go to another place. I can't remember the name of it. More along the lines of the first store with all the Gibsons. It's more a little high end. They have a little bit of everything. They have some Strats, some PRS guitars, but they have some Friedman amps, which are really expensive. I don't know if it was a 112 or a 212 combo Friedman something or another. 2,000 pounds, which is that's a lot of money, man. That's probably 2,500, 2,700, something like that. It's a lot of scratch. A lot of money, but whatever. It's a Friedman. I plugged into it with this one guitar called a Gordon Smith, which Gordon Smith is essentially what Gibson does on a better level, and they're made in England. So I picked up this double cutaway Gordon Smith guitar, mahogany body, nicely, it was like kind of a dark satin red on the back of this guitar. The top was a 1/4 inch of really high grade flame maple, beautiful, satin stained as well, but kind of a reddish, yellowish, kind of I guess it would be a sunburst. Handmade, well, all pickups are handmade, but made in-house PAF type pickups. And if you don't know what those are called, those are patent applied for pickups, which Gibson tried to patented the hum canceling circuitry. Anyways, they're black with metal, black metal casing on the pickup. It's not an exposed coil, so it looks really cool. All black, but the hardware on the guitar was gold, which gave it an interesting look. Black pickups, red body, gold hardware, and then the neck itself, which in Gibson fashion is glued in, set in, was maple with the maple fretboard, which you never really see Gibsons do that, or really a lot of companies that do set necks. You'll see bolt-on necks, which is essentially you have two pieces. You have a body, you have a neck, there's a pocket where the neck fits in, you bolt it in, bolt-on neck. And I'm guessing maybe, it's getting a little windy, I'm guessing maybe for economic reasons, that maybe maple's cheaper to do, but for whatever reason, when you mix a mahogany body with a set-in maple neck, it balances out the tone, the way the strings ring out really well. It's really cool. So I plugged this guitar into this Friedman amp. It sounds fucking amazing. The neck is thin, plays really fucking well. It's got volute, the little structural thing on the back of the neck near the nut. It's got a Gibson, very, very, very Gibson-esque headstock, and some more modern enclosed tuners that were. I mean, the guitar played so well, man. They were asking, I think, £1,000, which would be about 1,300. No. $1,350, something like that. I can't remember what the math was. And in my opinion, fucking worth it, really. Made in England by extremely talented luthiers. Really well made. Ooh, wind. Sorry about that wind. I'm trying to cover this thing up. There's crow milk. There's a crow behind me. Hey, Mr. Crow, you got any of that crow milk? Denmark Street. If you ever go to London and you're a guitar player or a musician, do yourself a favor. Go to Denmark Street, man. I've only described 3 of these shops. There were like 7 or 8. There was a bass, one that sold only bass stuff. Really cool. They didn't have anything. Well, they had some stuff that was like exotic kind of things I've never seen that were obviously made by like custom shops or something. A couple other guitar stores that had basically what you would find in like a Guitar Center. All the regular guitar pedals, guitars, everything you would find normally in an American Guitar Center, essentially. Prices are high though in these other few shops I went to. I think, man, there was like this really cool 7-string Schecter guitar, really cool looking neck through body, all this shit. They wanted 1,150 pounds, which it would equate to about $1,400, $1,500. I wouldn't pay that for a Schecter. Nah, not a Korean-made guitar. Even though, hey, man, Korean-made guitars are the shit. Oh, god damn it! There's these people again. Yeah, do yourself a favor, go to Denmark Street. I think I'm going to end this one for now. I think I'll relocate, do part 2. I gotta think of things to fucking think of. And I gotta think of what I'm gonna call this. Am I gonna, the old iteration of this podcast was called the RanDumb Cast, but it was RAND apostrophe DUMB as in dumb, RanDumb. Yeah, fucking. You're so clever, Will. You make clever shit up. Bill Clinton.